y'all. Dropping gems. Time for Change Tuesday. Thank you for showing up. Yes, I am here showing up on the first week of December, and I'm so happy that my change agents have evolved and grown over the time frame that we have been here together in this wonderful, wonderful, magical land of Time for Change Consulting. I cannot be so happier to have you, to grow with you, because I've been growing myself too. And now I want to make sure that I talk to you because it is so important to talk about like the seasons of business, okay? Seasons of business. But before I get into that, I want to make sure that you all know exactly like what's going on and what was going on, because I know we did like a little review and then we did the separations of business. So you have developed your business, you have been doing things to separate all of the stuff that we've been talking about and meticulously organizing yourself in whatever notebook that you have so that you can understand your business structure, your NAICS codes, your things that you need to be equipped. You know your EIN and you know how your business is registered, and you also have funding because I supported you with identifying non-restricted funds from you that you could utilize to invest in your business, right? So it's so important for you to understand that all of those things, right, combined together makes a really, really good business. And it makes for you to be prepared for even more funding and registering yourself with necessary portals. Because I'm not going to drop all the gems in this way, in this, you know what I'm saying, webcast, it's podcast. I'm not going to drop the gems here because you need to watch the shows to be able to understand some of the words that I might be saying, okay? All right, so because we separated the business, so now you know like which way you're going, and or you've been knew which way you were going. That was a refresher, but you kind of understand the funding aspects of it a little bit more meticulously, right? So now you need to understand that when you are in business, because we are in December, right? So because we're in December, we have been traveling along this road and developing your business, and you've been probably working in your business while you've been doing this. But I have to ask all of my change agents, have you really sat down and paid attention to how your money is flowing in and out and faster than usual or bigger than usual in certain times of the year, certain times of the season, right? So that's why I use the word seasons, because literally your business, you need to start looking at it as a season. It has seasons, okay? So it can't have more than 4. You should have 4 quarters. You should have 4 seasons. And I truly believe that that's the reason why our whole system is built that way. Because that's how you need to start looking at things. You need to look at your sense of time that you're utilizing and make sure that your time is connected to that dollar amount that you're spending and dollar amount that you're saving and dollar amount, most importantly, that you're earning. The dollar amount that you're earning, right, during these seasons are so valuable to you understanding exactly what it is you need to do the next year, all right? So this is a perfect topic to be talking about December, because we are coming up on a year of us running Time for Change Consulting and dropping gems, right? And so, of course, I'm looking at ahead in the scope of like what this will look like after I have completed a full year, because we should evolve, we should change, and we should grow based on what we see, the trends, the numbers, the different things that we have going on. You should definitely be paying attention to those things when you are in business, okay? So I always like to use myself, I always use myself as an example. Not for you to mimic, but for you to understand the concept of what I am talking about when it's related to seasons of business, okay? So I have different seasons in Time for Change, okay? Time for Change is very, 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 very busy in the summertime. All right. So in the summertime, we're very busy. We have multiple things going on. I always hire more staff. I spend the most money because I make the most money in those months. Usually around the time of contracting and around grant writing and all of those things is in the winter months. So I go in what I call, I actually said it today in the audit, a hibernation mode. Okay, I go in hibernation mode. I start applying. I pull down all the applications, right? I pull down everything that I could find, any funding, and I write and I dive in and I look and I search high and low for funding for Time for Change. So this is my down period, but I know I'm working really fast because I must work fast because once the holidays is over, guess what? Boom! Regular spending is in my face. So I have to be prepared. And so I'm sitting there waiting and waiting for the summer. So I had 2 quarters that I need to be able to span or be able to cover until I get to that summertime quarter. Now, I might start getting paid in the second quarter, where that might be in April. You know, I'll start getting paid for something that I was doing and working on and got awarded in February. Right? So it'll be like a spot check. It'll be like, okay, this is what you're doing. Right? You have some parts of your business that are ran that way. Mine's is. That is my trade school. It runs that way. Employment services, that runs that way because we get that contract, we sign that contract, right? And then we have new funding that will come because of that contract. But then we have, consistency. And that's what I lean on. So remember when I was talking about businesses and I was talking about Time for Change's structure, we have a 3-legged table for a reason. I developed my business like a top. So if the top is spinning and it hits one corner, it's hitting employment services. If it hits the other corner, right, it's hitting the trade school. If it hits the other corner, it's hitting the psychotherapy department. My most consistent department is my psychotherapy department. It is a consistent money revenue, if I have the staff in place, that goes across all seasons. Yeah, follow me. It goes across all seasons. Why do you need that? Why do you need something that's going to go across all seasons, right? Because I'm in hibernation mode right now. And I still need to be covered until that April paycheck. All right? So I'm poor. I tell people all the time I'm poor. I'm poor. Can you imagine going into hibernation mode? Can your business do that? Not a lot of businesses could do that. Okay? Sometimes I don't think I could do it. But then God come through. That spirituality. That prayer. Yes. That fear. That fear, financial, right? Debate that you have in your head and whether or not you can do it or not. That comes into place. All the prayer, all the dedication and spirituality. You get close to God and you say, like, we're going to make this happen because you told me to do it. All right? No, I'm not here to talk about anything magical and say like, oh, this happens because of this, because I just know with my faith intact that all things are possible. Now, what you need to believe for you to be able to push through when your bank account says 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, I don't know what you need. But what I need is my faith in God to be able to understand that it will happen. Okay? And I've been running for almost 10 years. So that says a lot. So you have to keep in mind too, right? So my psychotherapy department spans across. And my notes is right here. So, but my psychotherapy department spans across, right? So you have holidays, right? Coming up. You have even celebrations, right? So for some businesses, you have a surge. Like Target, Walmart, Amazon, all that stuff. They have a surge around this time, right? I have a drought around this time. You've got to understand that as a business owner. If you are a for-profit and you sell a product or you do something, do you do it more at certain times You need to be charting and graphing this and making sure that you are paying attention. You shouldn't have to go back and research your business. You should really know this information, that I'm going to make this much money. Your goal should be to make that much money or more the next time. You should be charting yourself. This is how much money I made this month. This is how much money I spent this month. You have to start paying attention to that, because if I caught you after you did your first year of business with me, great, because now you're in a position that you can really look back, right? But if I caught you and you might have had years of business, great, you in a position that you can still go back and look back, right? But if I caught you and you're just about to start, because you done swallowed all this information and you just about to start, right? First of all, dropping gems, you should have been started. But if you're just about to start, then you have a scope view. You could look ahead, and now you could be better prepared, because you could write it down that this month I'm going to make this, and this month I'm going to make that. And if you don't meet it, that's fine. But when you look at it next year, you start to build that concept of the season of your business. And then you start to build that concept of matching against the year that you have already provided that service or that product or whatever it is that your business is doing. Okay? Comparing and contrasting. Some products that you might sell might be seasonal, right? Some services that you might provide might be seasonal. It might not be something that's going to be ongoing. You might only want to, let's say if you're a photographer and you want to do Christmas pictures and you want to do holiday pictures, you might only want to do that. You might get a boom in November and December because you're doing all of that. But guess what? Your seasons for graduations and commencements is May and June, right? Graduation may be April. You might do some graduation pictures or whatever the case may be, but those are your months that you have that season. You might just want to do your LLC or your business in those months and not waste your time with the other seasons and do another business that's going to be seasonal, like a summer camp in the summertime, because you're not taking pictures for them right now at this moment. Maybe you need to get in the wedding game, right? So that you could have more seasons, but you still have more wedding seasons in the spring than you do in the winter, right? So thinking about your business or the task that you do, or you could just have a craft that you hone into because you're so good at wedding pictures. Spring wedding pictures you are so good at because you got the flowers in the background and they help you with your angles. Or the fall leaves are better, So you're thinking about those things and like, I'm going to work on these months because this is what it is for me, right? Now, when you in it and you're swimming like me all year round, you have to think about the stability in your company, which made me develop the psychotherapy department to keep some money flow inside of the company, regardless of if a grant or regardless of if a contract is coming through. Okay? A lot of people say, I just told my secret of stability of my company. But you could have that because you watched my show for this long. All right? Economic trends. All right? So you could really watch like spending trends too to help you with stuff. And like I said again, it's season variability, so you should be paying attention to that. These little changes that are going on, right, show you dramatic differences in cash flow, staffing needs, inventory management, because you might need more products, right? I know in the summertime I need more paper, I need more ink, I need more, all of this stuff, right? All of these little supplies inside, more computers, more this, more that. I need all of that. I'm spending way more I'm making way more, but I'm spending way more. But you need to understand that about your business. All right? Now, you need to understand that about your business, but you also need to understand why months vary. And so I already been talking about that, right? Like variances. So it's a couple of different reasons why months vary, right? So you have the consumer behavior, right? Sometimes, even in my psychotherapy department, people cancel appointments a lot during the holidays. That's probably the only time that we're going to lose revenue around in that department, because Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of those different holidays, people are taking off. They going places, they doing things. So the consumer behavior is very important for you to pay attention to. And that's why months vary. But people tend to spend more during certain times of the year, particularly around that time as well. So if you're selling things, like the one thing that Time for Change likes to sell is, our service. And we like to ask for money around this time because a lot of people are looking for tax write-offs. As well as them looking for tax write-offs, they're also looking to spend and buy things that they're going to need, right? So if you are doing custom clothes, or you are doing something, that's custom and it's a product, this is a good time to do things like that, because the season of that purchasing anything is going to be around now. When people buy gifts, they think about all different types of things to buy gifts. They don't just think about like, oh, I'm just going to get this because such and such has it. They be like, I want something unique, elite, and different from the rest, so let me do that. Let me ask this person for this custom thing, or let me get a freelance person to do this because it will be best for me. Because I want to stand out. I don't want to look like everybody else. Also, like weather influences for certain businesses, like agriculture, outdoor, recreation, and even fashion. So weather can seriously impact sales. Okay. That's even in the construction business. So if it's pouring down, raining all the time, the construction workers work in a lot of different elements, but sometimes they just can't. What are some other things that you're doing in the meantime when you lose that revenue, when you're not doing the construction, or when you're not performing electrical duties, or when you're not doing plumbing or laying pipe? What are some of the other things that you could be doing to keep the revenue of the business running? These are the thoughts that you should be having when you're thinking of the seasons of business. Promotions and sales, right? So many businesses schedule their biggest sales or promotional events or particular times a year, drawing more customers. Okay. I know that I'm going to be having a big event. It's going to be a charity event. If you're on my email list, you have been invited. If not, oh well. Okay. But it's important for you to understand that how many people have asked me, well, why you ain't doing it at the end of the year? Why you ain't doing it at the end of the year? Well, my answer is just because it's not Time for Change birthday. It's just not. It's not Time for Change birthday. I'm doing it because it's Time for Change birthday. That's what I'm doing. All right? Now, and the people who want to give are going to give. That's just it. Now, is it a better season for that to happen? Yes, it is. The Time for Change was established in February. So that's what I got to deal with. All right? But you need to pay attention to that, right? So even looking at your birthday of your company and this, like you need to pay attention to all of those things, because they matter. They matter. As you can see, I didn't pay attention to that. So making sure like you really pay attention to those things. Like ice cream shops are not going to be as fluid as they are in the wintertime as they are in the summertime. They're just not. Or the spring. Understanding the cycles are very crucial. Understanding the cycles of your business is very crucial. I already said that. So preparing for these things, right? So remember, I was just talking about preparing for it, looking ahead, looking this, looking that, looking this. I be talking before I be looking at my notes because I already really know what you got to do. One of the things that you got to do is forecasting. All right. So use past sales data. Didn't I just say that? Okay. Past sales data to identify trends and predict future sales during seasonal months. This gives you a clear picture of what you expect. And this is for any business. This is for any business, okay? Budgeting. Set aside funds during peak months, right? Peak months to cover linear months. So I just said that. I gave you an example at time for change, summertime, hibernation, then we back up and run, all right? And it's not hibernation that we ain't running. We running. It's just we not running as many staff, as many people, as many things, right? Inventory management. So making sure that you're counting all of the things that you're purchasing and that you know all the things that you're purchasing is very important for you to keep track with all the things that you're purchasing and that you have purchased and that you can reuse. I can't stress to you how much PPE I buy for everything that's going on, and then I be like, all right, I still got this much PPE. I always count at the end of all of my stuff because there's no point of buying the PPE that I don't have to pre-buy next year because I'm going to keep using it, right? Inventory depreciates value on certain instances like computers and different things like that. But what is it on the other end? The stuff that you can actually buy. All right. Staffing. So always, if you have shifts in the things that you do, you always want to use contractors, right? You will be surprised how much contracts now are very popular. People don't mind working 2 months, 3 months, 4 months as for a season, because guess what? You a part of their season. You a part of their season. They love working for you because they know, man, in summertime it's hot. I be having that extra cash. I work this extra job and I'm good to go. Okay? Staffing is very important for you to pay attention to. You might not need all your staff all the time. Right? I don't need my instructional staff when I'm in hibernation mode. Only if I have an audit or something like that and I pull them in and I pay them. But that is best for me to be able to pay them because by the hour I pay a lot. So if I need them for a certain day or time, I'm telling them, and they are on contract and they can work anywhere else they want to work. My staff, I love them making a lot of money. Go ahead, make that coin. All right. So hiring seasonally is very good, but not seasonally, not meaning the holidays. I'm saying seasonally based on your projections for your company and your forecasting for your company because you have a season. You have a season where you make the most money. What does that look like? You can't do the job all the time. If you are a photographer and you always work by yourself, well, around those fall months and around those spring months when you're really, really busy, then you should hire a contract person to just walk around with you to support you because you might need an extra person to hold the light this time because you're doing a lot more work. Marketing strategies, right? So we already talked about marketing strategies. Go check the other show on that, right? But you want to make sure that you invest in marketing campaigns geared towards your peak season. So you want to pay attention. So when you have peak seasons and pump ads. So we was talking about all that social media stuff and everything. Making sure that you pumping ads in your season though. Don't waste your marketing money. You do not want to waste your marketing money. Use your marketing money for when you already know that you are making coin. I cannot stress that because you need to pay attention to your seasons. This show is probably the most important show because now you done already figured out all of the other stuff, but now you got to be ready to forecast. You got to be ready to pay attention to your spending and know like, okay, this is what I do. This is what I do. Okay, I need to pay for marketing now. This is now. Like I do it all the time. Right now, I'm going to pay for an ad for Indeed because I know that this job takes this long for me to secure a person in it. So I'm going to let it sit for this many months and then I'm going to get a person. But it still got to sit and circulate. All right. All right, so making sure that you're embracing the lean times, right? So reflect on your business practices, explore new markets, and this is when you got lean time, okay? When you're in hibernation mode, and focus on customer engagement. All right, just because you are in hibernation mode, that does not mean that I'm not going to be talking to my students about, girl, you rocked that out, you did that. I just did the commencement. Yes, in my hibernation mode, because it's important for them to see me, to know me, to breathe me. Mrs. TFC is in the building. Y'all need to know that I got time for you today, right? So making sure that in your lean times, you are reflecting on your business practices, you exploring new markets, so if you got to write grants, contracts, anything like that, and or focusing on your consumer engagement. I have an alumni now. I have multiple years of individuals who have graduated from my school. My goal is to create content, to put them out here, and to talk to them as well, to make sure that they know that they need to spread the word that I have given them a way to get a healthcare education in the Great War 8, right? They need to talk to all of their family, all of their cousins, all of their people, and let them know I'm an alumni from a private institution, from an individual who is from the Great War 8. I need to tell them that all the time so that they can just keep on saying it. And then they say, I graduated from Time for Change. What's Time for Change? Yeah, I need them talking about me at the dinner table. I need them talking about me at the Christmas. I need them saying, I'm starting this year as a CNA or EMT, and I went to Time for a Change, a private healthcare institution that's in the Great War 8. Now, you might see other institutions that might be on there, but guess what? We are the onlyest one, if I do say so myself, the most unique, elite, and different from the rest, if I do say so myself. This is my time, my lean time, to pop my collar and to talk to y'all about seasons of business, to make sure that you on point, okay? All right? Make sure you on point. Pop your ish, okay? Okay. I just want to say that in conclusion, you have to make sure that you are forecasting, broadcasting, and doing everything that you need to do for your company. I cannot believe in you more than you could believe in yourself, and the next person can't believe in you the more than you could believe in yourself. People come up to me and they talk to me about my Mrs. TFC around my neck, but guess what? It's who I am. It's what I started. It's what I created. I'm ordained to do what I do. If you're ordained to do what you do, you should walk proud, and you should face whatever person or whatever thing you need to do to get the job done in your company. You might not be working in a nonprofit and you ordained to do this, but you might be the best plumber, or the best freelance creator or clothes designer, or whatever the case may be. Be the best that you could be at whatever it is that you do. But when you do it, you need to know that all of these components have got to be added, and you need to pay attention to when you make the most money, when you spend the most money, and when you need your lean time to utilize it. Do not be not in business and think that you're not in business. You always in business. You always in business. All right? I would like to thank you for your time today. Please follow me at Time for Change Consult. Send me an email, timeforchangeconsult@gmail.com, if you have any questions. My name is Tanya Ridley. I'm the founder and owner of Time for Change and Time for Change Consulting. Here at Droppin Gems, we have educated you to be the exceptional entrepreneur that you are today. Stay hip, stay tuned. I have more every other Tuesday at 6 p.m. I'll talk to y'all soon.